My favorite topic. One of them. Yeah, as a teacher, I see firsthand the problems that cuts to public education have caused. Continual cuts. You cut here, you cut here, you cut there. You're cutting the building. My classroom, I have mold growing on top of my ceiling that hasn't been fixed. It's been reported. Nothing can be done about it. We don't have it in our budget. My classroom is, I painted my own classroom. I bought my own supplies, bought the own paint, and I painted it myself. I had requested it for 3 years to be painted. It just wasn't in the budget. So we definitely need to look at reinstating an appropriate level of funding. Granted, you start looking at these rural schools. I graduated from Harmon High School. So it's a small K-12 school over in Harmon, about 220 kids. And you look at the counties like Pocahontas and Randolph County where we're all spread out. It's a very rural county, very rural counties, and you have large transportation costs. Smaller counties don't have to face these issues with busing kids 20, 30, 50 minutes, one way. We need to look at raising more revenue to put into schools directly. We see cuts. I mean, there have been cuts in everything. There have been cuts from maintenance. There have been cuts in the amount of money that counties can pay for teachers, because we get about a little over $6,000 per student from the state. You get up to $11,000 if you actually bill for certain exceptionalities. And we have to do something to fix it. We have students in the state who have never had a certified math teacher because we can't attract teachers to this state. These students are going out into tech schools, trade schools, colleges, and they have no mathematic background, science, chemistry, foreign language. We got to do something to attract certified teachers, good employees. We don't have enough bus drivers right now. So I definitely would like to see some changes in funding for that.
Thank you. Mr. House?
Hey, obviously I am a private school administrator, so I have an interest in seeing competition put into the educational system, which would improve considerably the overall educational system. If there was a choice in the system, it would create a competition, I believe, would help to increase the quality of education without increasing the budget. Randolph County has a budget of $9 million for their school system, and while I operate my school on a considerable amount less than that. Private schools can operate much less expensively. The salary for the superintendent of Randolph County is over $100,000. There needs to be accountability in the Department of Education as well. I think that this isn't anything we can do statewide, but the federal Board of Education needs to be eliminated. So we send money to the federal budget, federal Board of Education, for them to send it back with strings attached with less money. There just has to be accountability. We need to look at where the money's going, how it's being spent, local control for the Board of Education, for the schools, giving teachers more liberty, and a lot of the issues could be resolved if there was just more control given to the local schools, and they could be more accountable with the monies that are there, and things could be handled much more efficiently if there was local control. And the choice again would enhance the education and competition in the education.
Thank you. Mr. Hartman?
Thank you. Very difficult question. We do have some unique features in West Virginia. The rural areas is a real problem. In fact, I think that Pocahontas County probably gets a great deal more money than the funding calls for, just because of the rural nature of the county. When you consider that Pocahontas County has half the students they had when the school was built, so it's a very difficult question to balance those kind of things. I think one thing that we've done, the school building authority, which nobody has mentioned, is paid for from lottery funds, has provided a lot of improvement for the infrastructure in education, but the teacher's pay raise that we just passed and obviously supported it, very strongly. That money for that came from development and tourism promotion. But I think that we've got to look at how we can reduce cost in education. And as our population drops, that even compounds the problem. And Pocahontas County payment in lieu of taxes because of the National Forest has just almost disappeared. Once upon a time you got $700,000-800,000 and that's gone. So that these are very difficult issues, and I think that we have to get past some of the negativity of these kind of issues and be objective with when we start considering where we're going to get the money.
Thank you. Mr. Eisner?
2 years ago, I think I sat in this very same room when we answered similar questions, and I think I made it clear at that time and at each library and fire hall and every place we traveled, having, doing a meet the candidates or similar forums such as this, and I made it clear at that time that, education was, one of my top, if not my very top priority. I talked, at every one of those events about the need for a teacher pay raise and the correlation between the teacher pay raise, keeping the best teachers, and having the best students. You can't have the best students without the best teachers, and as Mr. Thompson said, there are many young teachers that are fleeing the state because we rank so near the bottom in teacher pay. So, what a session. What an amazing session we just had with protests every day. What a grassroots movement that teachers from across the state came up with to force the hand of the legislature on an issue that I've been very passionate about for a very long time. And I think and I hope that that's just the beginning. That teacher protest took us from a raise not just for our teachers, but for our school service personnel, our troopers, and ultimately all public employees. I hope that that is only the beginning. No legislator, no delegate, no senator can take credit for what happened. That was something that they did on their own, but we do have to have qualified people in this job that know what they're doing to know how to effectuate the change that the public is calling for. And I think that that's an advantage that I have and that Delegate Hartman has, is the ability to go in and know how to effectuate the change that the public is calling for, like we were doing this session with teacher pay raise, PEIA funding to fix the buildings, keeping rural schools open. These are all top priorities for me, and I want to continue to work hard on those issues as we move forward. There's no better investment in this state than investing in our kids.